Season 3, Episode 2. We're back. We're officially back, though, because this time I can look into that camera. I can look into that camera. And I can even look into this camera right here. Meaning that we are back into school, and we have the cameras back.
Oh, yeah. Thank you to Holland College. Thank you to everyone who made this possible, including Hunter's Ale House. We'll get to them later, as we always do. Bring up a surprise little transition there. But let's bring it to the NHL.
Yeah,
where Justin's being selfish.
Yeah, first and only news in the NHL today, because we have a big conversation to be had in the NFL, is my beloved Montreal Canadiens named the team's 31st captain in franchise history, Nick Suzuki, the 23-year-old, drafted by Vegas, traded in the Max Pacioretty trade to Montreal. And we all know how that turned out. Pretty damn good. What do you
for
mean?
You.
Yeah, for us.
Yeah. For you guys.
Yeah.
For hockey fans.
That's for the Golden Knights and Pacioretty.
He did okay in Vegas. Like, he was one per game.
His first couple of years were real productive.
Not too bad, but now looking at it.
Here's what I'll say about your Canadiens and this captaincy and this player. Too young. It's just the Montreal
Is he the right player, though?
Yes, but you don't make that move this year. We were talking about this before the episode. This is a 4-assistant captain year. You just don't have a player of this caliber who's this go right into captaincy from the A this quick. Marty St. Louis, he's a great coach. But favoring the young this early, this year, I don't know.
Might be the new NHL, though. A lot of young captains out there.
Yeah.
Just a Brady Tkachuk kind of Ottawa scenario right there, trying to maybe induce his confidence a little more in the franchise, get him excited for the years of rebuilding to come.
McDavid was named a young captain.
That's McDavid, though.
You're talking about young players, though.
McDavid's the new Jonathan Taves. He's Captain Serious.
Okay. Sure. But you know what I mean? I don't have a problem with Nick Suzuki being named captain when he's young. I really don't. I think he's the right person to be named captain. I don't think there's anyone better. And, yeah.
I agree largely with Grant there. I think it's a 4 A's kind of year. I'm pretty sure it was more so just he's one of the guys who's been there for a few years now. As you said, he's probably the best offensive player they have right now until Cole Caulfield keeps growing a bit.
Or Slavkovsky.
But I think it's more so just
Or Doc performance.
Or Doc, yeah. I just see it coming as they're going through a long rebuild looking at it right now. There's no way this is a speedy recovery for the Montreal Canadiens. And I can see that maybe it's just a way to kind of entice Nick Suzuki into staying for most of his career, to have a bit more confidence in going through a rebuild like this, even though he's still young. And it's just a way to have kind of like a leader maybe installed a little bit in the locker room there to kind of lead them through this rebuild and have that one voice so people know that if this kid can handle it, it's gonna look really good on Marty St. Louis and the Habs. If he can't handle it and the rebuild gets the best of him, it's going to turn the other way and it's going to drag them through the mud a bit.
Yes. He's underneath contract for the next 7 years. I'm not really worried. 6 or 7 years. I'm not really worried about him wanting to leave right now.
Not wanting to leave. I just think if the rebuild takes a bit of a heavier toll than what's expected on the kid now that he's a captain, he might just get morale. Will go down in the locker room, morale will go down in him, that it hampers his play a bit. Like this, It's a low risk, high reward scenario, which has been kind of the theme this NHL offseason.
Yeah. You were talking about the history of the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah.
And obviously the original 16, for them to have, what did you say, 31, 32 captains?
This is their 31st captain in franchise history.
That is very few captains for what I thought a history.
Considering how long they've been around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That deep would have. So you have to treat this C with a lot of respect.
Big time.
A lot of honor.
Probably the most in the NHL.
Probably.
Most cups for any franchise in NHL history. Like the Montreal Canadiens.
I just mean this is probably the most decorated C in all of the NHL.
With the names that have worn it 100%. Yeah. And then you look at what Nick Suzuki said. One of his big comments today was, when you get asked to be the captain of the Montreal Canadiens, what are you going to say?
Exactly.
Obviously, yes.
So, with a player this young, And in NHL, that's very young. I don't know how long he's going to be in Montreal. Not how long he's going to be in the NHL, but how long he's going to be in Montreal.
I would say he's looking to be a lifer, if I'm being completely honest.
Or until the next Montreal rebuild. Once they get into this one,
Well,
eventually win a couple years, go into the next
I
one.
would say it's going to be like Jonathan Toews.
How many more years does he have in his contract?
6 or 7, I'm not 100%. He signed his big extension last year. I think it was for 8 years or 7 years, so it's either 6 or 7 right now.
The Habs knew what they were doing here, but as I said, it was a low risk, high reward. They're locking up, not only do they have them locked up in contract, but with the C, that adds much more than a contract almost. Like, yes, you're locked up under contract, but wearing that C is going to not make him want to move, not make people want to get him moved,
But
even years down the road.
Probably means Brendan Gallagher is on the way out.
Gonzo, yeah. No, I hate seeing him get shafted like this again.
I don't really think it's getting shafted. Like, I really don't. Like,
Not the biggest one of the NHL offseason, no, but it's still like, how much has he done for that organization, that city, and it's just kind of like, you basically know now, like Gallagher's
he's a
on the
role
years.
player. He always has been. He hasn't been like a superstar, I wouldn't say. He's been what we needed.
He's been a fan favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would just say the only other option would be to save that city and see how these rookies come up from this year.
Yeah,
Before
Slafkovsky
And also
Caulfield
see how
and
Caulfield does.
Suzuki on a line together. That's going to be interesting. Or whoever plays with Doc will be very interesting to see.
Locked up for another 4 years as well there.
Yeah, so like they're building a future. They're building a future. That's what I can leave it at.
It's the young Canadiens now.
Moving into what is probably the biggest topic of this past weekend is
the NFL is back, baby.
Oh, it's back, and it's back in a big
Think someone's
way.
excited?
Yeah. Even though his team hasn't even played yet, they play in 3 hours.
Here we are recording this on a Monday. And
Broncos country. Let's ride.
Would have tied for the second longest field goal in NFL history.
Yeah, okay. You had to get that in there.
Yeah. I told you no, and you just went for the yes.
So, I mean, we can just dive right in. All three of us personally have some winners and some losers that we want to talk to you about from this past weekend. My biggest winners of the weekend, and this may surprise you, the Browns. Not because the Browns are spectacular or anything, but because you won without Baker against Baker.
Yeah.
That's why they're winners from this weekend.
They're in my win list too.
The Bills, because they look like a Super Bowl winning team after week 1. I'm not going to deny it. Like, they are a Super Bowl favorite in my eyes.
Yeah.
And the Bears. The Bears are a winner from this weekend.
The bad news Bears.
The Bears are a
The
winner from this
rainbow.
weekend because, listen to this.
The slip and slide.
First half stats, 0 points. 4 punts, 19 total passing yards. Justin Fields was held to a passer rating of 2.8.
Ooh.
Somehow, you win the game 19-10.
Honestly, I think it's the field. Not Justin Fields.
I mean, it was...
Because Lord knows he did not leave much of anything in Chicago.
No.
It was a rain.
But yeah, that water bowl, whew, that was fun to watch.
Oh, it was fun to watch.
Fun to be a Bears fan for.
Yeah.
And, oh my goodness, I was not expecting that in the slightest.
No.
Blame it on the conditions, blame it on anything you want. But when you boil it down and reduce it all the way, and I mean all the way down, and then boil it some more, the Bears won week 1.
Yeah.
Trey Lance also wasn't that impressive either in his own right.
So, in my biggest losers of the weekend, in my eyes, I know you guys have different opinions. The Bengals were the biggest loser, one of the biggest losers, because they look like a Super Bowl hangover team, even though they didn't win the Super Bowl. I get that, but they still looked like a Super Bowl hangover team.
And
Go ahead.
I'm just going to interrupt you right there. Bengals were not a loser this week. They weren't a winner, but they weren't a loser.
But they had the chance to make a big statement there by coming out hard in week 1 against the Steelers that are changing
The positive is Joe Burrow threw 4 interceptions and had a fumble, so 5 total turnovers. and they only lost the game by 3 in overtime.
Yeah.
That is the positive from this weekend.
Yeah.
You have so much that you can tune up and improve upon from this weekend that I think the Bengals will be fine. I just think they're a loser from this weekend. But, and then my other 2 losers from the weekend are the Packers, because you left Aaron Rodgers out to dry this offseason. So what did you expect was going to happen?
Yeah. You're right.
Like what did you seriously was going to expect? Like, did you think he was going to make these guys into superstars? No. And my other loser is the Falcons, because you blew another big fourth quarter lead. Yeah. This time, a 16-point lead with 11:35 left in the fourth quarter against the New Orleans Saints.
Well, if you have the Birds money line on the Saints, congratulations. I'll say that.
What? They just keep on doing it. I don't know how they keep on doing it, but they keep on doing it. So, Falcons never lose.
Is that the end of your list?
I have one other thing. The biggest winner of the weekend and the biggest loser. The biggest loser, in my opinion, is the 49ers. Because you are last season in the NFC Championship game with a chance to win the game with Jimmy G as your quarterback. This year, you decide Jimmy G is no longer good enough to be your quarterback, and Trey Lance has surpassed him.
And keep him on the practice squad, too, instead
You
of
won't
getting some
trade
money
him.
out of it.
So, my biggest thing is you don't let Jimmy G play, and instead Trey Lance is your new starter, and Trey Lance puts up 10 points and loses to the Chicago Bears, who are probably one of the worst teams in the NFL. What the hell is wrong with San Francisco? Biggest winner of the week? Jimmy G. And here's why. He's going to Dallas by week 3.
By week 3? San Francisco already said they're not letting him go.
I would assume that
They got a collar on him.
with Dallas is going to need him. Like, they're going to... I would say they might give this guy... I forget who is it, Colton Rush or...
Technically, they don't even have Colton Rush.
Like
through
the Cowboys.
Technically speaking, through a
Yeah.
contract loophole, they don't have Cooper Rush.
So...
But that's what it's going to be.
So I would imagine they're going to let him try and start 1 week.
Yeah.
See how that goes. If he does good, sure. But
He won't.
I'm sure Jimmy G will be a Dallas Cowboy by week 3. That's my opinion. I'm not going off of sources. I'm just...
It's a Justin hot take.
I'm just straight up saying Jimmy... what else makes sense for Jimmy G to go right now? Like, why would San Francisco, if they don't want Jimmy G to play, why would they not just trade him to Dallas?
And why would Jimmy G let him just sit there?
And if they said, we want you to play again, if I'm Jimmy G, I don't want to play for the San Francisco 49ers again because the franchise just turned their back on you.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
With Debo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So...
Who is an awesome connection.
I mean, maybe you guys think I'm crazy by that prediction, that he could end up in Dallas by week 3?
I kind of like it. Not gonna lie, I would love to see that.
I do like your list. I do have a couple flip-flop things for a couple different reasons. But my main problem is with the Bengals. I'm going to loop back there. The reason Kansas City lost to the Bengals is because Kansas City is one half team. Whether that's the first half, the second half, second quarter, third quarter, first quarter, fourth quarter. But it is a combination of 2 quarters of football that we play incredibly well. And the other 2 quarters are very poor. Yeah. And to be frank, I didn't see that this week. I saw a steamrolling of the Cardinals, which I love to see. But the Bengals are not that team. Mm-hmm. They're not that guy. They go 4 quarters, and that's what they did. They didn't have the scoring production that they usually have in those 4 quarters, but they went all 4 quarters.
Also, we have to mention that T. Higgins got a concussion halfway through the game, or first quarter, somewhere along
Jamar
those lines.
Chase still proved to be like the number 1 guy, though. It's basically if Joe Burrow and him are seeing each other right,
I'm just saying they did lose T. Higgins, so I will mention that as well.
It is a big loss.
That is a big loss for the Bengals.
That's losing Sammy Watkins when you have Tyreek Hill.
Tyler Boyd will have to step up.
Yeah.
He was the third.
That was my whole thing with the Bengals. Is I think you had a chance to make a big game one statement, big week one statement. You're coming out heavy, and even though their O-line did get better, I still Joe Burrow's not getting picked off 4 times, still getting sacked like that, and your O-line's completely repaired. I think trade deadline, they're still focusing on. It's like the Toronto Maple Leafs with their defense and their goaltending. The Bengals need to look at their O-line a little bit more, protect Joe Burrow, because if Joe Burrow has the right protection, like I said, if him and Jamar Chase are clicking, Higgins comes back, Boyd steps up in a big way, I think the Bengals could be Super Bowl bound again.
That is a very likely possibility.
Yeah. Well, here's my winners and losers of the week. And I think it's going to start off a bit odd. Dak Prescott, hold up. Let me explain. Winner. Because he gets a 6-week vacation from the Dallas Cowboys.
I don't even think it's from the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think it's that. I think it's the Dallas Cowboys fans that he gets a 6 weeks vacation from.
Another Toronto Maple Leafs comparison there.
The whole organization and that fan base is toxic as could be.
Throwing garbage in week 1.
So
very ruthless.
If you let them break you down.
Congratulations on your vacation. You've won an all expenses trip paid to the hospital.
Yeah.
Another winner, my Chiefs. But not just the Chiefs, the city of Kansas City. I think we were all kind of biting our fingernails through this offseason after the Tyreek Hill news, and we were really nervous about facing an NFC team who now kind of matched up with us. Defensively, it's rookies, no names, and veteran leaders who are just kind of falling off now on both sides. And an offense led by a quick, shifty quarterback with a semi-quasi receiving core.
Yeah.
And we've never seen this team, so we didn't know what to expect. But so, winner, city of Kansas City. The barbecue devoured in that city.
Speaking of that, the offense that you're talking about, you notice who didn't have a receiving touchdown week 1? Juju.
He did have 6 receptions, I will give him that. 79 yards. But the biggest player of the week was obviously Patty Mahomes.
The guy is still a throwing god.
Fantasy is goated.
30 for 39, 360 yards through the air, and 5 touchdowns.
We set up our fantasy league to be very fun and scoring for QBs, and that's what it was. 55 points is what he scored in our league for fantasy points.
Whew.
So if you have Patrick Mahomes on fantasy, congratulations. You're also a winner. You're not on my list, but you're a winner.
His tosses were insane, too. Did you see that underhand one?
Yep.
Right through the gut.
If the question is, did you see a Patrick Mahomes pass to me? The answer is yes.
Yes.
Did you see a Patty Mahomes highlight this weekend? The answer is yes, because it was all over your feed.
Yes. Every other TikTok was Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
Every other Snap story was Patrick Mahomes.
Not his brother?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Other winner of the week, Bills. Just to come out there against a defending Super Bowl champion. We always hear about Super Bowl hangovers, but
I don't think it really was. The Rams didn't play terribly. There's obviously some stuff they can clean up, but
Cooper Kupp played amazingly.
Yep.
Matthew Stafford, not a bad quarterback actually.
No.
When he's not wearing a Detroit blue, he's a really good quarterback.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Bills winner. Now to go to the loser side of the board, Jimmy G.
Why is Jimmy G your loser?
He still has a collar on him, and he still hasn't been signed by Dallas after the news. I think, yes, news and trades take a bit of time.
This is why he's a winner for me, because Trey Lance just proved that I'm not ready.
Yeah.
And Jimmy G proved that I can take you to an NFC championship, a Super Bowl, and then you guys are going to throw me under the water? Like, come on. That's why he's a winner to me.
I think all that is just compiling into just bad thoughts in that guy's head. And bad juju, I shouldn't have said bad juju as a Kansas City fan, but bad mojo as a quarterback, it goes a long way and in the wrong direction. And I don't know if Jimmy G's going to pull out of that. If he goes to Dallas, I think he could do some great things there. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if he will. It seems feasible.
Dallas is the most logical option now that Dak Prescott's gone.
Yeah, it really does. But I don't know. I do not know where Jimmy G will be at come week 5. I'll say that. My other loser, Panthers. Just you got Baker Mayfield and you couldn't beat the Browns. You grabbed all of the Browns' mojo, and then you still couldn't beat them.
Well, here's the thing. They got Baker, and they decided that we're just going to turn into a pass-first option.
Yeah.
And then, oh, wait, who do we have in the backfield?
Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, we aren't going to use him that much.
Yeah.
Why not? We're not going to use him. We got Baker Mayfield throwing the ball now. Like, Baker can throw the ball.
No doubt.
But you have Christian McCaffrey. Come on. Like,
CMC.
just come on.
Run the ball.
Run the ball. Run the ball.
Let
him get injured in week 2 and then go throw the ball. But run the ball week 1 all you can and use him up.
I didn't draft him in fantasy for that very reason, so yeah, let him run. Have at it. I don't know who did grab him in our league, Justin, but I think
it was Thomas, the guy I'm playing, or was it a matchup against this weekend.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty happy.
Yeah, especially after that.
Yeah.
Considering I had Cam Akers. Yeah, I'm pretty devastated there. 0.0 points.
No.
And that brings me to my last regular loser of the week, the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
Defending Super Bowl champion. How do you not pull it off? The Bills are a great team. I won't lie. But, I mean, come on. They're the Bills, and you're the Rams. How do you lose that bad?
There was a reason it was the week 1 Thursday night football game.
Yeah. 2 games went into overtime this week, and it wasn't that game. And that's what I'm most confused about. Anyway, my biggest winner of the week, I think this comes as no surprise to anyone who's an avid listener of the show, but the Chicago Bears. To pull it off in the Water Bowl against the 49ers.
Yep.
That penguin slide at the end.
Yeah, what a celebration,
right?
too. That's just...
Did you see the video, too, of one of their big O-line guys going in down like...
In case you didn't know, Bears won. Hey, Bears won today, in case you didn't hear.
Bears are going to go 117 or 117.
116.
116.
Barstool Big Cat, if you're watching this, let's just share Chicago down together over Zoom. Let's just get it over with. Like, let's celebrate. We have something to be happy about. You called this as a loss. I did too.
I mean, you're playing the 49ers like you thought they were going to be good, but apparently they're not.
And that is my biggest loser of the week. The San Francisco 49ers.
We're right on track with that.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest topic around not just this show, but the whole NFL, is how do you go and drop Jimmy G, not drop him, but put him on the bench and lose that game with that much confidence and not bring him up at all.
And only scored 10 points.
Yeah. He's not even on the practice squad. He's over at some side field throwing balls out of a passing machine.
To himself,
yeah,
basically.
To trainers.
Yep.
3 trainers who just decided, I'll put on some gloves.
Trey Lance went 13 for 28, 164 yards in the air, and 1 interception. Yeah. He also had 13 carries for 54 yards.
Not much.
Not much to talk.
Not much to talk about there.
Can I just add a cool throne to this segment here?
Yeah.
A cool seat. I'm on the cool throne. You don't want to know why?
What?
Because I had some sticky ribs from Factory.
Mm.
Oh, man. That's my favorite dish there.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. You know what else I love about the Factory in Hunter's Corner?
What is it?
Oh, they got the big screens and the big games.
Oh, my God. We got a big screen behind us.
We do, and it's not even turned on.
Oh, my
Technical
God.
issues. We're back, but we're not back.
We'll figure that technical issue out next week.
We'll get something put up there. I'm thinking SpongeBob. Taylor wants to throw a hockey game up. I have no nerve to tell him it's September. But anyway, get on down to Hunter's Corner, folks. They got all the locations, all the meals, all the deals.
They've got 3 screens on this one. Wow.
Hey, bing,
Oh,
bang.
my God. They got 3 screens just like we got 3 screens.
Oh, man.
They got more than 3 screens.
Yeah, and they got more money, too. That's why they're sponsoring us. So, thank you to Hunter's Corner. Taylor, how do you feel about this week?
So I got 3 winners, the same as you guys. Number 1, I got the New York Giants.
Okay, that's a fair one.
Big week 1
That
upset.
is very fair.
Taking down the Tennessee Titans. It might have only been by 1 point. But Ryan Tannehill and the Titans are sitting backseat in week 1.
Yeah.
And also I just want to reinstate the fact that kickers either make or break an organization once again right now.
He was not the most underwhelming player in the Titans, though.
No.
No.
Robert Woods was, by
Yes.
far. By far.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I know you're hurt because of your fantasy team, because you got Robert Woods.
Yeah.
But Robert Woods was the most underwhelming player on the team.
Luckily, I got him on my bench this week.
But moving on. Who did you have other?
My second winner of the week, Jacoby Brissett.
Jacoby Brissett?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Deshaun Watson suspended for 11 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Baker Mayfield now in blue and black.
Yeah.
And this kid comes up and puts on a fairly decent show. He had a few long bombs.
I'd just like to say where Jacoby Brissett came from originally.
Where?
The Patriots. Just let you know.
Yeah, this kid.
Then he was traded to the Colts. Then he, I think, is now with the Browns.
No, but I watched that game, yeah. He was great all game long, right up until the very end, whenever it was also, once again, kickers who decided the game.
Yeah.
But it was a great game by both. More so Baker in the second half. He came up a little bit. But Brissett was solid throughout the whole thing. He had the Cleveland offense pumped up, and I thought it was just a really good show.
I would argue the only thing is he's got two wonderful running backs by his side.
Yeah, Kareem Hunt was insane that
And
game.
Nick Chubb was really good too.
Crispy Kareem donuts all
Crispy
day.
Kareem donuts.
Mm-hmm.
And
the next Eddie Lacy.
my final winner of the week, we talked about earlier, the Pittsburgh Steelers. I just think your post-Ben Roethlisberger era, you're coming up big with a Week 1 W over a former Super Bowl appearing team in the Bengals.
It
And
came
I just
with
think
a heavy cost though.
a game with a heavy cost, but Trubisky actually looked really solid in the yellow and black.
Hey.
Mike Tomlin was kissing the ground after the game. I think
Mike Tomlin's a better coach than any coach that
Yeah.
Mitchell Trubisky ever.
Mike Tomlin cheats, and we all know it.
Oh,
So
I'm still not over that sideline.
they're my third winner for a reason, but I still think the Steelers deserve a bit of credit there.
are they going to win against the Patriots next week? I don't think so because if TJ Watt's gone, they're done.
And if Mac Jones is gone.
Mac Jones is not gone. He's
Yeah.
not.
Anyway,
They just report. I can pull it up right now. Reported by Adam Scheffner and Ian Rappaport.
Those two don't lie.
And
No.
those two do not lie. And Mac Jones was 1,000% better today.
Alright, well, okay, we'll give you a benefit of the doubt, but still, then they're going to need to score more than 7 points this week coming up.
Yeah, so are they in your biggest losers of the week?
No, my losers for this week are the Carolina Panthers offense and Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Because, my God, was there any more team more dormant in the first half than the Carolina Panthers?
I'm with you there.
Their defense looked not too bad, but the offense was just sleeper city. The fans had nothing to chant about. Baker looked like he was completely lost. They said Baker knew the offense inside and out before this game coming up. Did he have a touchdown in the first half?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Maybe they need to put a film study clause in his
Just
link.
to let you guys know, here, quick update, breaking news. TJ Watt will get a second and third medical
Heard that, yeah.
thing,
Opinion.
Jinx.
and it's looking like he's most likely going to need surgery, which means his season will be over. If he doesn't need surgery, then he will most likely be back in 6 weeks.
What was his specific injury again?
It
Do we know
was
yet?
his pectoral muscle.
And
wasn't it?
scans on the quarterback, Mac Jones, came back normal. The injury is not thought to be serious, but the team will still monitor and gauge the situation and how
Okay.
Jones is feeling.
So maybe have a chance week 2.
No, he felt like there was some. Ian Rappaport there was some report of back spasms that was happening in the game. So.
Alright, so
Well,
yeah.
Ask any bodybuilder. I've never torn a pec because I don't have any. But ask any bodybuilder who does have one. Tearing a pec is one of the most painful things you can ever do.
Well, you could see he was in some discomfort, obviously. But anyway, the Carolina Panthers offense and Mayfield there, totally sleeper city. They're going to need to fix some things up right quick there. 2, my second loser, Aaron Rodgers. Because with the way his receiving core looks right now, I said this on Twitter, and Tim and Friends retweeted me, check it out. But they're going to have Aaron Rodgers in the nursing home before the end of the season.
Yeah, maybe those shrooms were a good thing.
But I don't think that makes Aaron Rodgers a loser.
I think he's a loser because of the situation the Packers have put him in.
I think that makes the Packers organization a loser.
Packers is a loser here. Aaron Rodgers is just an innocent bystander.
Losing too, though. You Well, you saw the receiver guard. He had a wide open guy, touchdown city,
I know.
and buddy let it slip right through his
I
fingers.
know.
Aaron Rodgers-
I'm saying it's not on
Yeah,
Aaron
that's on the
Rodgers. Though. I
receiver.
don't think
No,
it's on Aaron Rodgers.
it's not on Aaron Rodgers. I just think he's
I think this
maybe
is
a loser
on-
by association,
Yeah,
but he's still
that's
losing.
That's exactly what he is.
Yeah.
He's a loser by association.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But he is dragged into this by an awful organization,
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
you said.
And final regular loser of the week, we talked about earlier again, Dallas Cowboy fans. Because not only do they still yet to have any good football, they lose Dak for 6 to 8 weeks.
Apparently, they didn't want Dak. So.
Well, Dallas, it's Texas. They want football. They want good football, and they've been without that for quite some time.
They want every season to be 17-0.
And they lost last season on a very bad play, so they were kind of hopeful for week 1.
Hey,
and what did they
Houston
do?
tied, so there's a win for the state of Texas.
The state of Texas, Dallas, they just want good football. That's all they want in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And Dallas is yet to provide any of that. And the Cowboys scored the second fewest points in franchise history for a season opening game with 3 in the total game. The current record is 0, and that season they went 1-15. So Cowboys fans, I'm sorry, but Texas Cowboys fans, Houston, whoever you're with, get the tissues out. You're the New York Mets of football.
Houston tied against Colts, and that's a win for the state.
That's a win for Houston. give it to Houston. All right, biggest winner of the week, Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
After how many injuries, he comes back. 164 yards he rushed
And a touchdown.
and a
Honestly,
touchdown.
he's a winner for not getting injured.
He's
Yeah.
a winner for not getting injured, and he's a
Chris
winner.
McCaffrey
That's-
every week.
yeah.
That's
Every
an
week.
automatic dub.
And he's a winner for rushing 164 yards.
He
He was the-
outrushed Derrick Henry.
Well, he damn right he rushed Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry had 92 rushing yards. And, so Saquon Barkley, a big winner there for this week, as well as the Giants. And Brian Debo, their head coach. Did you see those moves in the locker room after that big win there? He was feeling it.
Oh, yeah,
He was feeling it.
He was feeling it.
And finally, I'll wrap it up real quick with this. My biggest loser for the week, tailgate tables in Buffalo. Because, my golly, are they going to be in for a heck of a season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Point.
Sure.
Yeah.
We got a folding table just off camera here, and even as a Chiefs fan, I'm tempted to go through it after beating the Rams. Anyway,
After beating the Rams, you beat the Cardinals.
no, after the Bills beat the
Oh, okay,
Yeah, I'll be
okay.
clear there.
I thought you meant like as a Chiefs fan, I'm tempted to go through.
And
I'm very aware when we beat the Cardinals. On the way back from State Effects, I was
Fine.
looking at that score and updating
Okay.
it all day.
And one final quick thought. Kickers continue to make or break the NFL. They're the biggest snag or the biggest headache for a franchise. Look at that Steelers-Bengals game.
This is the
4
third
chances.
This is the third time he said this.
Yeah,
Watch.
4 chances.
We're gonna update this with week 2 news because we're not just gonna go off kickers for 1 week. We gotta see
No,
a
but
clear cut, a couple games, I would say.
yeah, but what a
really give a general consensus on what the kickers are gonna.
that
be
was a
this
crazy OT though. McPherson after being a stud misses 2. Boswell
So-
hits a post.
Anyway,
Yeah.
we'll kick this on over to Sean Fisher, new coach of the UPEI women's hockey team, coming at you right now. As promised, after our 4-second break, we're back with Sean Fisher, new coach. Sean, good to have you on.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
New head coach, new position here at UPEI. How does it feel coming in your first year?
It's been good. It's been kind of a whirlwind. It was a long process to kind of get it done, and then once it kind of got finalized, then now it's been just like. So it's been, I'm still like it still kind of hasn't sunk in exactly that we're going to be playing games here that mean something in like
less than a month.
less than a month exactly. So, but I don't know. We'll get after it. The people of Charlottetown have been amazing, and the whole campus and the community and the island have been fantastic and like welcoming me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been great so far.
So we'll dive into UPEI a little bit later.
Sure.
What we'll first do is go back to your roots. And Grant, I know you've been the one to ask him.
Your humble beginnings here with the Sudbury Wolves, AAA Bantam. That was your first coaching gig.
Yeah.
What was going through your head going to coaching?
Um.
Well, let me start off with this. Did you play beforehand?
Yeah. I mean, I played a little bit of junior back closer to Kingston, Ontario, but yeah, when I was in Sudbury, I was just trying to, figure out the assignment, class schedule, tournament schedule, how that all balanced. That was kind of my own way of being a student athlete then. So
it's minor hockey. You gotta know what time you gotta be at the rink for.
Yeah,
who's bringing the snacks.
It was that, and it was like, I mean, you're in Northern Ontario. Like, you have you're not quite on an island, but geographically it's almost an island because you're like a long ways. You're Timmins, you're Sault Ste. Marie, you're North Bay, like Kapuskasing. Like, these places are long trips, and in the snow in the middle of winter, that's just getting my bearings straight on logistics was tough, and trying to be a somewhat half decent student too.
Yeah.
So you do make that move into coaching. What was that transition like?
It was kind of, I mean, that like coaching, teaching, instructing was always kind of like my summer job, like through high school and then into university. So it was kind of it was a natural fit. I mean, I'm kind of a rink rat in a lot of ways, like being, around the room and around the athletes and on the ice, and that's just kind of my comfort area. So it was pretty natural, I think, making the transition from my very average playing career to coaching.
Yeah. And then you make the move up in levels to midget with Nickel City.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, again, it was like good athletes and high expectations, and we had players on some of those teams that played games in the NHL and things like that. So they were good teams. The majority of that Bantam Sudbury team ended up winning the TELUS Cup just a year later,
Really?
which is a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
So yeah, and Nickel City, that was fun. You're out in Chelmsford and those late nights, but that team was a lot of fun. It puts when you're having to dedicate that much time like around your school when it's like strictly volunteer basis, and you're not really quite sure what the end game's going to be, and you're 19, 20, 21 years old. It's it was important for me. It laid a good foundation for kind of where I'm at now. So
So you were there for 10 years. I'm sure there's got to be a few highlights from those with long road trips from there.
Geez, I mean, we had buses break down, and like staying in the lodgings. When you're traveling through some of those mining towns that you're having to stay over, like those aren't exactly 5-star resorts, right, that you're staying at. Yeah. So yeah, there's some nights with you weren't sure whether or not the heater was going to work, and you were going to make it through the night actually. There was. The tournaments down south were always fun with those groups, with Sudbury and Nickel City. When you get the kids out of the mining town, and you get them down to Toronto and Ottawa for these big tournaments, and we always showed really well out there, right? You have a lot of OHL and NHL scouts at those events, and you got these, like I said, there's these kids from up in Northern Ontario, and get them down there, and when they show well, that was always.
It's almost like it doesn't matter where they're from. It's like if you got the pride and the passion for the game,
absolutely,
you show out.
Just go play.
After your time there, or at the end of your time there, did you feel like you had kind of taken the role as far as you could possibly go there, and it was time for a new chapter?
I probably just needed to grow up, right? I mean, I was still a kid myself in a lot of ways, like coaching kids. So I needed like a year or two, and needed to, kind of find my own path, which was heading out west and whatnot. But I mean, I still am in touch with a number of those athletes that I coached during those years. One's actually going to do some recruiting for us in Quebec, which is really cool, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great thing about hockey.
That's the goal.
Yeah, I mean, hockey it connects people, and it's just being our national pastime. The game's been really good to me, and it's been good to me because of the people that I've met. And the fact that you're still in touch with people 15 years later is that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So you do take that leap, you grow up, as you say, and you go to the prairies a little bit.
Yeah.
You go to the prairies for Winnipeg, And then 2 years later, you said you go to the University of Manitoba and start the coaching gig.
Yeah. I mean, I moved out there to coach in like kind of in the private sector, and then my phone rang in the spring of 2014, and I got an opportunity to kind of start working with the women's program in Manitoba, and we had some really good teams and some really good years. And
so my biggest question is, first off, going from men's to women's, what was the biggest difference right off the bat to you, like that you knew, oh god, I gotta adjust to this like right now?
More well behaved, maybe.
Yes and no. It probably would surprise you a little bit. I think originally I thought I was going to have to completely change how I coached, coaching a different gender. But honestly, at our level, at the U Sports level, women's athletes really just want to be treated like the guys for the most part, right? So I actually didn't have to change a whole lot, right? I grew as a coach, and I probably went way too far into like the art of coaching early on, where I was probably just yelling and screaming and trying to get players to play the way I wanted them to that way, and that just isn't really me. And I probably went too far the other way, but I think I've kind of found middle ground, and you know, when it comes to, you know, the gender thing, like I think the female players just want to be treated like the guys in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of what I try and do.
I would personally totally agree with that, and I think that you're on the right roll with what you just decided to do as a coach. So at the University of Manitoba, you had some great teams, like you said, some great outcomes. What would be a couple highlights from it, and if you had to pick a couple from your time there?
I mean, we won a national championship, which that's pretty cool. So I would be remiss not to say that. You know, Winnipeg is a hockey town, hockey city, but it's a hockey town that doesn't win very often, right? So we won, it was a big deal, right? It's like, you know, the Jets had us on the ice before a game to honor us. You know, the mayor and the premier were handing out, you know, special recognition medals and awards and things like that they haven't since, and you know, it was a big deal. That was a fun summer. But we, yeah, I mean, that getting to get back to nationals when I was the interim head in 2019 here in Charlottetown, that was pretty cool. Right? We came pretty close again that year, right? You know, it's really hard to win one. It's incredibly hard to win it the next year, and we actually came close in a lot of ways. We did training camp one year in Europe, which
with the team
with
Manitoba?
the team, yeah. So we spent 2 weeks in Finland and Sweden, which was really cool. So
was that like something like the school had like planned, or was that just
we planned it? We fundraised a lot of it.
Was it like training camp in a way, but then also there was some time for go and explore Finland?
There was a lot of time for go and explore Finland. There was a lot of time for going and exploring Stockholm. We took the ferry overnight from Helsinki to Stockholm, which is like a cruise ship, and that was a lot of fun. It was half training camp, half life experience, right? So you get some of those girls from the prairies off the farm, and you know, that might be the only time they ever get to Europe, right? So it was, you know, life experience along with hockey.
Not only that, now thinking about it, there are a lot of pro leagues over there for women. So the pro leagues over there, they obviously are expanding. They're becoming bigger and bigger. So it's leading for more women after U Sports to go over and play over there. I know that UPEI themselves had 2 players go over there this past year, Camille Sugar and Sophie Vandal. So, I mean, it must have been just cool in general.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was eye opening for our athletes. You know, just to see what could be beyond, what the future holds or could hold. I mean, I think 5-10 years ago there were so few players that were like aware of the opportunities and aware of what was out there, that now actually these European teams are becoming so choosy with who their imports are. So like, you actually have to come now today with like to these European clubs, hey, here's my resume. This is what I accomplished. This is where I played. It's not just good enough anymore to be, oh, I'm Canadian. Okay, you can be on the team. Like it's like you actually have to come with like a resume, similar to like what it is for men's players, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, the Swedish league is really good. We played Djurgården, which is in the Globe in Stockholm, which is pretty cool to play at that facility, and played a couple teams in Finland, which was again an awesome experience to play Espoo in Finland. So yeah, it was a fun trip and eye opening for a few players, and some of those players have now just are finishing up their careers. One just finished 3 years with Modo. And one just finished her 3rd year with SDE just outside Stockholm.
Wow.
So what's humorous to me is through University of Manitoba, your coaching time there, you got a taste of both of your next coaching jobs, and you chose both. You got Europe, and you got P.E.I. when you came here for the championship.
For too.
Yeah. So what was it like coming here now and going to Europe? We'll get to Europe. We'll get to P.E.I. here later, but going to Europe. After coaching there and doing your training camp?
Well, completely different. I mean, like, the Scandinavian countries versus Central Europe.
You're in a very different part.
Very different place, right? But, as far as the level of competition, really good. I mean, that European Women's Hockey League is a growing league, a strong league. Most of our athletes were Austrian national team players, Hungarian national team players. We had some really good imports, players from California and Wisconsin and Toronto, and so we were a really competitive team.
Did you have some Olympians on your teams then, you mean, kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few Austrians that had, certainly world championship experience, and I believe the one was in a couple are old enough they played in Nagano. So there are some, there's still some really quality players in those countries. I think Austria is it's not a rising power. That's not probably the right word to say, but it's a country that's on the rise in women's hockey. Their group of like U18, U16 players are really quite strong. They actually just qualified for the top division, winning the world championship just yesterday, I believe. So Austrian women's hockey is kind of on the rise in certain ways. So yeah, it was really cool to be over there and to experience that culture and play some of those teams and just kind of do the whole European hockey thing.
Yeah. Now, did you reach out to get this coaching position, or did someone reach out to you, or was it?
Yeah, they reached out to me, and they were their previous coach had been there for 3 years. He was a Finnish guy. Was moving back to Finland, and. Yeah, it was just kind of made sense, especially during, we were still kind of unsure of what was going on with COVID, and it was like, might never get this chance again. So I, hopped on a plane and was over there. So yeah.
Yeah. So most over COVID had some changes, some drastic changes for worse or for better.
Yeah.
You decided to just pack up and move to Europe, and you were successful. Let me just read some of your accolades here. You went 27-7. That's just below 800 win percentage. You got European Women's Hockey League bronze. You got the Euro Super Cup silver, and the Austrian National Championship. You won all those.
Yeah.
What was just the cream of the crop of those three?
Actually, the league bronze.
Really?
That was a big one. We
was it not expected?
Not that it wasn't expected, just that we had lost some players to injury late in the year. Had some players in the lineup that, if you told me at the start of the year they were going to be, playing for us in the most meaningful games of the year, I would have been shaking my head at that. But they, really came a long way, really improved. We lost in the semis to a really good team at a Budapest. They had some very good players. And we played them the best we played them all year. We lost 3-0, but the game was probably closer to a one goal game. And then in the bronze medal game, we played a team that tried to avoid us by throwing some games late in the year, and they did, and that probably put us in a tougher draw to face KMH. But then we got Mats in the bronze medal game, and we just gave it to them. Like, we were one of our best games of the year. Beat them 5-1. It wasn't close. And so, like, the bronze medal actually felt really rewarding. So I'd probably say the bronze.
Yeah. Well, props on you for saying the correct pronunciation of Budapest.
Okay.
That's a real European guy here. So the move to PEI.
Well, first, I want to go back to, you first mentioned that you came here in 2019.
Yeah.
When they had the Nationals before COVID. Now, I know you've only been here for like a weekend or like 5 days that week, but was it a good taste of Charlottetown initially? No.
No.
Okay, so tell us about that.
The people were great and the food was great. I remember that, but it was March. I mean, I just got to experience what it's like in August, so it's not really comparable, right?
It is two different islands.
And
so you were like first plane out of here right after Nationals. Let's get out of here.
yeah, because it didn't quite go the way we wanted it to, right? So when you lose game one, you're automatically on that side, right? And we lost 3-2 to Guelph. We spotted them a 2-goal lead 2 minutes into the game. Tied it up. We were the better team the rest of the game. They got one late to make it 3-2, and we couldn't tie it up. But they didn't give up a goal the rest of the tournament, right? And so some other people might disagree with me, but I personally think that was the gold medal game in a lot of ways. And we won our remaining 2 games against P.E.I. and U of T. But when you think you have a chance and you think you're really in it and you really believe that you're going to repeat as national champions, it's more like shock, and then you're kind of poopy pants for the rest of the week, right? So did I take it all in? No. Did I probably appreciate it for what it was, the whole national championship experience? No, I didn't. So I do know if I'm ever fortunate enough to get the chance again, even if we lose the first game, I won't be like that. I'll be I'll just take in the experience a little bit more.
So what other than that gave you a bad experience at Charlottetown the first time around? Just the weather? Or?
No. It was the things that stood out to me were like the support for hosting, the support from the community, the athletic department. Just it was just such a warm, friendly welcome. Again, if you're ready to win it and you don't, you're not exactly usually in the best mood. Exactly. So, it's kind of funny how it kind of comes full circle. Right? You get to, I got an opportunity to meet some of the people that are still involved in the athletic department back then, or that are here now.
So let's just fast forward to summer 2022.
Uh-huh.
You're announced as the head coach, I'm pretty sure in June.
Mm-hmm.
What was the first reaction when they reached out to you?
So I was wasn't caught off guard. I thought I did fairly well in the interview process, and I was pretty happy. Pretty happy to get the job.
Just curious. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
How many people did they tell you? It's down to you and 3 others, or no?
I have no idea. I haven't asked. It's not really,
Yeah.
Whether there was one other person applied or 100 other, it doesn't really, whatever. So they, it was just this job and the Carleton job that they came up this year. And I think this is a fantastic situation for me. Yeah, Carleton was certainly a lot closer to home, but that's a big city. I'm not really from the big city. I'm from smaller agricultural communities. Charlottetown, P.E.I. just felt like home. Felt like more of my style.
I mean, you moved a lot closer to home in general, so.
It's true. It's a lot closer than
family could be happy about that.
And just to piggyback off of agriculture here, I did a little research on your hometown of Stirling, Ontario.
Okay.
You spent ages what? 0 to 14?
14. Yeah.
So TripAdvisor says the top 5 things to do in Stirling, Ontario.
Ooh.
The top 3 are farms to visit. different types of farms. Number 4 is a conservation center, which is just a government farm.
Yeah.
And then a theater. So
Yeah, the theater is fantastic, actually. Yeah, it really is. It's this cute little.
Is it like an actual like people theater, like where you Neptune theater, like?
yeah,
what theater
like,
is the
like
people
100,
theater?
like 100 seats, maybe.
Well, like you mean like actual plays, not just
Oh,
we're
okay.
going to a
Like
movie
movie
theater.
theater,
Yeah,
theater.
Yeah, no, it would be like
Theater
performing
theater,
arts.
yeah.
theater with the E at the end.
Yeah.
People theater.
People theater. Whatever.
Anyway.
Okay. So, and I wonder what the top 3 farms are. Like, I
I think it was a honey farm, lavender type.
Okay.
Yeah, and then just a farm, like a true farm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
is that,
I mean,
is
you're
that correct? Those top 5?
I mean the Stirling rink. That I would put that on the list. There's a lot of great memories there.
That might have been, but when I saw 4 farms, well, 4
Yeah.
technical farms
Yeah.
on the top 5, I just got really excited that you're coming to P.E.I. where it's potatoes.
Yeah.
And lobster.
What's the population of your hometown?
Like 1,200 people, maybe.
Wow.
1,500 people tops.
That's the population of my hometown.
I have Stirling's population in 2016 as 4,882.
Oh, that's a lie. No.
Well, that'll get
That's
interesting.
got to be counting like
Surrounding
Springbrook and Madoc, and like we're really stretching now. That's
Okay, well, Greater Stirling's population.
greater
is
Sterling population.
5,000.
Yeah.
So this is going to be really fun later on.
So go back to UPEI. You get here in June. You get the job. Now tell us from June to about September 12th, 2022.
Well, I worked remotely until August 1st. So it was just like Zoom meetings with players, admin, travel, a little bit of recruiting stuff, lots of planning. Yeah, that was kind of my focus through June and July. Made one trip out here in July, just kind of a house hunting trip, and got to meet some people then. But yeah, since August 1st, it's been just kind of a whirlwind. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
How much has Bruce Donaldson been a help trying to transition into the role as head coach?
He's been great. I mean, I go and bug him every day just about like little things. Like I went like today and I was like, who do I talk to get more helmet stickers? And, like things like that, right? There's like little questions that like if he wasn't here, I could still probably find the answer. But
just makes it so much easier.
So much easier. He's just a wealth of knowledge. He's 16 years as a head coach here, so he knows everyone. He's got great connections to the alumni. I have some thoughts on how we want to engage the alumni moving forward, and he's going to be a key ally there, and he's been awesome. Yeah.
So you're about a week and a half into training camp, just over a week.
Yeah, a week and a half. Yeah.
And how are you feeling so far? And what kind of expectations do you have for this season going into your first year at UPEI?
I don't know if I have like any expectations necessarily on like results wise. Like I don't know if I have like a number in my head there. But I would say that the group's going to be high performance. We're going to drive culture forward. In the way that it's been going. But that's a big thing for me. Culture and high performance, right? And the group's biting that off and they're taking that on, and that's what I want to be a part of. And that's I'm not willing to not be part of that. That it has to be that way for me, and the group's kind of buying into that right now. So we'll make strides in those areas, and hopefully the byproduct is a few wins.
That's what it seems like it is with hockey on PEI. It's building a culture, kind of a mindset when you're playing for a team on PEI. A mindset that makes a culture that makes people who don't play on the island or aren't from here, when they come here, they want to keep coming back even years after they're done playing here, and they love just being here and playing here in general and wearing the jersey.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So, go ahead.
So you gave the good news to 3 walk-ons today. Not today, sorry, Saturday.
Saturday, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you find after a disappointing season last year for UPEI? What do you find is the key, whether it be rookies, walk-ons, veteran presence, is the key for this year?
I don't know.
Is it a combination of both?
It's a combination of all of them, but the leadership piece is really important, and it's not just going to come from just a few athletes. It's going to come from everyone. Like making leadership important to everyone, making leadership everyone's business is really important to me. It'll be really important for the group. We're not as we're young in a lot of ways. Like we're still a really young roster, which is exciting. It means there's lots of room to grow here with this group and this core. But it'll be a test, especially on the back end. And we're young back there.
Yeah.
Right? And
so that leads into my next question. Probably my toughest question of the night.
Sure.
You lose Joe Lina-Gollard.
Uh-huh.
You've lost 4 of your top 6 from last year. I know you didn't coach them, but so what kind of strategy is it coming into this year where basically it's a whole new group on defense?
Uh-huh.
You're losing an all-Canadian second-team all-star player with
Yeah.
a lot of production from last year for the UPEI Panthers.
Sure.
So what kind of production, where are you looking to get the production from this year?
We're deep up front, right? We'll have 16 forwards, and I think all can contribute, but we're pretty deep there. I'm actually I'm pretty happy with that group, and not that I'm not happy with the back end, but like you said, that's a young group there.
Mm-hmm.
So
expecting some growth setbacks, like
we're just gonna get better at hockey. Like
Mm-hmm.
that group there is. They know they have to, and they will. They'll get better through experience and playing time and roles and minutes and what they're being asked to bite off and take on. We'll just have to they'll have to put the big girl pants on and get it done. It'll be baptism by fire for some of them, but I think that's what they want. That's what they're chomping at the bit to take on after a lot of them it was a big roster last year, so there's a lot that were in the stands and didn't take those roles last year. But
yeah, and I forgot one other player that I completely forgot about. I'm sorry about, but Camille Sugar, the goalie, also gone.
Yeah.
So the goalie's also an open different role this year or different spot. So are you expecting big things out of your goalies this year? Or?
They're all 3 of them are very capable. So what that exactly is going to look like. I think in some past years there, Shugs, she carried the bulk load of the work. I don't see that quite happening here. I think there'll be, especially the way
Tandem or?
in maybe, it'll kind of depend on how it all shakes out. We start with really tough schedule. We start with 4 and 8 days. We'll see where we're standing after the first 8 days.
So if there was a goal for this year, I know that they got put out in the first round of the playoffs last year. I know it was a COVID thing where it was only a 1-game playoff, where in previous years it would be a 3 or 5-game playoff series. So is there a goal going into this season? I would imagine maybe there is, but
well, I mean, we're gonna do some team goal setting here over the next couple of weeks about if we want to put some things down on paper as to what we're trying to accomplish, what our purpose here is. We've started some shared values exercises, and some shared beliefs and a common mission statement that we need to kind of drive forward for the group, and we'll set some goals coming out of that once we've kind of established some of those things. But from my point of view, I mean, I want to be playing after February 12th, right? I want to be playing meaningful hockey and make the playoffs, and I think the group certainly can do that, and we're pretty deep up front, right? And we have players in the back end that are talented and are eager to prove themselves, both in net and on the blue line. So I think we'll be competitive with every program in the US. I really do.
Yeah. So, as you saw in Ryan Graves' interview last week on episode 1, we're introducing a lightning round. A quick 5 questions, no hard balls.
Yeah.
So you spent some time in Sudbury.
Yes.
So you've had some time to get through the tourist season there.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Sure.
So,
tourist season?
well,
You've seen the attractions. How about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Bigger here than there.
Yeah. Big Nickel or the Bell Park Boardwalk in Sudbury?
Big nickel.
Big Nickel.
Yeah.
Any reason why?
You just got to see it. You got to see it.
It's a big piece of silver, though.
It's a big piece of silver. Big nickel.
Okay, well, a big Nickel fan, and I'm a Nickelback fan, so I'll be with you there.
All right.
Okay, in the coaching style, are you a metaphors guy when trying to get a point across, or are you just straight to the point, let's just get this done?
I like the analogies. I like comparing to other sports, to life, to things like that. You know, automobiles, football, history, anything like that. I like the analogies.
Do you have a go-to metaphor?
Yeah, like the maintenance on your car, right? Rarely you find yourself broken down on the side of the road if you're getting your oil changed regularly, your tires rotated, things like that. You got to take care of the body, take care of the mind, take care of the soul. You know, you don't find yourself broken down so often.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
That's a good one.
Regular
Well
maintenance
said.
on your car.
Well, Northern Ontario guy, you got to know Letterkenny and Shoresy. So which one of the two are you watching?
I like them both. I'll say Shoresy. It's just the hockey piece and like all those places. I mean, I ate chicken wings at at the Doghouse, right? And played in Sudbury Arena and like things like that. So it all feels really familiar.
Were you in the no-show?
No, not no.
Anyway, this is a trick question because I gave you a hint earlier. But what has a bigger population? Greater Stirling, which we talked about, or University of Prince Edward Island?
Oh, UPEI is like triple the size.
You think
Has
so?
to be.
You think so?
Well, probably hold all that population in that new dorm building they're building.
Yeah. What is it?
You'd be wrong.
Wrong?
Greater Stirling has a bigger population of 565. That's the difference. Greater Stirling's population, 4,882. UPEI's population, 4,317.
Is that this year?
Yeah.
That was 2016. That was the last numbers.
There's no way
the
that
last numbers that
PEI is that little right now. I think that there's over 5,000 kids here.
Yeah, you may be right.
I'm pretty sure on that.
We'll wait till the numbers are in.
Yeah.
5 years.
They definitely got
We'll update you.
And anyway, here's the final lightning round question. The prairies or the East Coast?
East Coast. Oh, East Coast.
Yeah.
All day.
every day.
Every day. Oh, yeah.
Just the lobster and the potatoes too good down here?
In the Gulf.
And the
Gulf.
gulf.
Beaches.
Yeah.
And the weather. Yeah.
But you haven't been here for winter yet, so.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I've been winter there. Trust me. Like, I mean, how much worse going to be?
So
You wait.
I got two for you here. What's your handicap?
I play at like a 10 or 11.
I can take you on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
What's your favorite course played here so far?
Brunel.
Brunel is beautiful.
So the thing that I want to go back and play again, where I like actually have the guts to, when the wind is blowing, hit it out over the beach and let the wind bring it back on like 11.
Oh, the par 3 there, number
5, 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like those holes are just like,
Yeah.
you have to play it once to kind of.
It's a tough narrow course too. Like if you got a slice or a draw there, there's a few holes you can get in trouble on.
Absolutely.
No, and you got your snow tires picked out, yes.
No, I'll have to do that.
Yeah, you're gonna want to look for the studded ones. So
Yeah, studded ones.
Lastly, before we let you go, you mentioned before you came on, huge football fan.
Mm-hmm.
So I know you said your favorite team's Miami Dolphins. They beat my New England Patriots. Whatever. It's week 1. We're in Miami. We've lost last 7 out of 10.
It's true.
Or 8 out of 10. Sorry.
Did you know that Tua is 4-0 against Bill Belichick?
Wow.
Disney tied most all the time now.
I think that's the most. I think it's Elway is 3-0 against him.
For 2 Broncos QBs.
I'm gonna have to look this up right after.
Elway.
Somebody else.
Elway
This is-
sold.
I forget. But yeah,
No,
it's
there's
gonna be
a
4-1.
second Broncos QB
It's
there.
gonna be 4-1.
gonna be 4-1.
It's gonna be 4-1. We'll have to have you back on and do that again.
Until they go 0-2 next week against the Steelers.
Don't even worry about it.
Who said that?
But point of the question is, who's your favorite football player of all time? And who would you look to? I know you said metaphors. Who would you look to get a quote from?
Oh, I'm a coach. I have to go Belichick. Like I have to. Like I'm like I know he's
There you go.
He's a Miami guy, obviously, but I just.
So you must not smile much then, do you?
What's that?
You don't smile very much then, do you? Or?
No, I mean, like Belichick sound bites are the best. They just are. They just
Yeah.
are,
Oh.
and just like you get such little. He's such a private guy, and you get such little snippets into like what he's about and all that like you're just kind of soaking it up, right? Anytime you see him, anytime he gets behind a mic or you get an insight into what he does.
Now,
Belichick. Yeah.
I have to say, like that's a great one to pick, but I don't think
You
he
want a
gives. I don't think he gives many. You can give a player too, but I don't think he gives many like great quotes that we hear about. Like
There's not a lot of color
Yeah.
outside of the field.
like
Right.
so if you're looking for a quote or if your favorite,
Marshawn Lynch.
ask for your favorite player as well.
Like Randy Moss was super fun to watch. Had some great sound bites. Randy Moss would be a good one. Yeah, I'd probably go Randy Moss.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for a quote, who are you getting it from?
NFL player?
Anyone like sports player?
Anyone?
Something like you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Jeez. I don't know. That's a tough one. Like, it's cheesy if I say McDaniels, but like he's awesome with the press,
Yeah,
right?
he is insanely great with the
But-
press.
I don't know honestly. If it was one person in the sports world to grab a quote from, again my head always goes coach, right? Buzz Williams, Texas A&M,
Mhm.
Yeah.
basketball. He'd be a great one. Brian Dable in Buffalo would be a great one.
yeah.
I like him.
See those dance moves after the week when we went
Yeah,
in New York?
exactly,
Yeah,
right.
there
Yeah.
we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gruden, for all his faults, and he's far from perfect, but quote machine, John
Yeah.
Gruden,
Yeah.
right, would be
Yeah.
a good one. See, I'm just listing coaches, right?
Yeah.
So, I told you, like it's hard for
It's a coach's
coaches stick
mentality.
together.
So we'd like to wish you all the best of luck this season. You starting your new chapter with the UPEI Panthers, and we hope to have you back on at some point during this season. I say a challenge just because it's first year coaching, a new team, all the technical bugs, all the chemistry bugs, like just getting self worked out.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, I think you guys are gonna do great this year, and I hope the best.
Yeah.
I hope so too.
As always, go check out Hunter's Corner. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, as you're listening or watching to us now. But check out Waterboyz_media on Instagram. That's where all the live scores and updates are going to be. We're your Islands TSN. I don't know if we can even say that due to copyright issues, but we are. Check us out also on Instagram at Officials Waterboyz Podcast. And then on Twitter at the Waterboyz Pod. And then on Facebook. We're everywhere.
We might have
Everywhere.
a soundbite from this guy later on in the season.
Michael up for a game?
Oh, yes. Mike Dub.
Mike,
sure.
Mike Renegade, yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah. I've dialed back the F-bomb, so
So, Grant, why don't you send these guys out?
As always.